layers. Okay, these first couple videos are going to be very easy at first. Okay, so we're going to look through layers and kind of see how they work. What's the advantage of using layers? Well, over here I've been using a single layer the whole time, and every time I go in here and highlight the ball, and if I move this ball over here, let's per se, and then quickly deselect it, what happens is I would have to do that every time I wanted to get the ball over to a different side. I'd have to highlight it and move it. Okay, I'm going to just quickly undo a few times here. Instead of doing that, wouldn't it be nice if the ball was actually part of a new layer system? So I can just go in here and edit cut and edit paste, and you notice it plops it on a new layer. Now if I'm on this layer and I use the move tool with the show transformation controls on, I can move the ball. Okay. If I have to do something with the other background, however, I have to make sure I'm on that layer. So the ball becomes a layer, this becomes a layer. Anytime that you see it's locked, make sure you double click on it to unlock the layer. In this case, I manually locked it, so I have to unlock it here. In some cases, you have to double click on it and hit OK. That'll unlock the layer also. So this is the ball now on its own layer. So I could do that with every object if I wanted to using my workflow here. If I use the magic wand tool, look what happened. Well, I didn't take the time to switch back to a different layer. So if I want to highlight that mess of pixels right there, I have to be on that layer. And then I can move it by going edit, cut, edit, paste. And there we go, it's on its own layer now. So that's the hardest thing for students to understand. Their number one question besides index color, which is another thing altogether, is why isn't it highlighting? And you have to realize that you have to go back to the bottommost layer, wherever your object is that you're trying to highlight, and then move it by copying and pasting or cutting and pasting. Another thing that you could do, let's say I just wanted it to be on that layer always, and I wanted to make a duplicate of it. This is another trick that I like to show. If I go to the move tool, I can use Alt on the keyboard and I can make duplicates. They all live on the same layer, however. So that's one way to do that, is make duplicates of the stuff. Another way you can make duplicates of it is cut it and paste it, and then you can duplicate the layer by right clicking on it and duplicate layer. Hit OK, and now I have two circles, each existing on their own layer. So you can see how quickly layers can get out of hand. I mean, now I have all these layers and they're just all here, label 3 copy. If I wanted to rename these, I could. Again, these are small examples. So I don't have to, relabel every one of these, but that's how you label it, is you double click on just this word here and it allows you to rename it. Another thing about layers that you should know that not very well covered sometimes is the fact that, let's say I have this layer right here. This is a complex layer because it has a gradient on it. Okay. There are ways to use layers to the advantage with these locks. Let's say I lock out pixels. Well, by locking out the pixels, I say anything that's transparent I can't paint on. So that means if I take a blue brush and copy over the top of this, once I reach the outer edge, it doesn't allow me to paint anymore. Okay, so there's some locking mechanisms in here that are very nice with layers. Another way to do that is you can also hold Command or Control and click on the layer, and it'll also do that very same trick. So Alt or Command or Control, click on this area right here on the layer, the preview, and it allows you to highlight just that area. And now you can paint in that area. But you can't paint anywhere else. So that's two different ways to do that. You can either lock it out or you can hold Command or Control. Alright, another way to duplicate a layer is if you take this layer it's locked and you click and drag it down here, it allows you to duplicate it without right clicking. So that's another way of duplicating a layer. See, now I got two layers and they're equally complex. I can delete layers by simply clicking on them and hitting delete. Yes. Or I can make just brand new blank layers by going in here, going to a layer. Alright, now that we know how to move them, duplicate them, and everything else, let's move on to the next video where we can do some more stuff with layers.